Hello, Feely humans. Welcome to another episode of You, Me, Empathy. My name is Known Wells. I am the creator of this podcast. I'm also the founder of the Feely Human Collective, where we together grow and grapple with the superpowers of empathy, vulnerability, and emotional curiosity. More on Feely Human in just a bit. Some updates coming for you. But I just wanted to put the disclaimer out there that I am not a mental health professional. I am not a therapist. I am a silly boy with big feelings, a big heart. And for a long period of time, I wore suspenders in the 7th and 8th grade. I thought I was punk rock. I was not. I was listening to a lot of punk rock. I was going to a lot of punk rock shows and in punk rock mosh pits. But I don't know if I was punk rock. Who else wore suspenders in sort of like a punk rockish way? Maybe it wasn't punk rock. Maybe it was more like ska. Remember that? Ska? Any hoozles. Not a mental health professional. So that's the disclaimer. This episode is episode 238 with Becca Rea-Tucker. Becca is the creator of The Sweet Feminist on Instagram, at The Sweet Feminist. Give Becca a follow. And Becca has a new book out, a new cookbook called Baking by Feel. And it's beautiful and it's amazing, and I can't wait to start baking again. And the book is about baking as a way to process feelings. And each recipe is connected to a specific feeling. And it's really inventive. It's really creative and fun. And I just love it so much. It's called Baking by Feel. We talk a lot about that in this episode. We also talk about Becca's connection to abortion activism and changing the way we talk about abortion, destigmatizing it, reducing shame around it, helping others feel less alone. Abortion access is being challenged in the United States right now, and a great place to go to learn more about it is ineedanabortion.com. It's actually ineedana.com now, ineedana.com, and that's linked in the show notes at feelyhuman.co as well. So we talk about that. We also talk about Becca's baking origins. We talk about her being born into, like, right after her father died, and being born into grief and sadness, and how that impacted her, and all sorts of lovely stuff. I love this conversation. I love Becca. I cherish what she does in the world, and the baking and in the destigmatizing abortion access and care. Really loved this conversation. I hope you love it too. Before we get to it though, just a few things going on with me. If you follow me on Instagram at You, Me, Empathy, you'll know that I've been struggling with my mental health. I have depression, major depressive disorder, and I've lived for many years with pretty frequent suicidal ideation, and that is hard, and it weighs on me from time to time. And there are days where it just feels like a lot. And I just want to say to you that if you're feeling that way, you're not alone in that feeling. There is support out there. Lean on people who see you and love you for who you are, who can be empathetic and vulnerable with you and share space with you and listen, and be a mirror for you. And I hope that this podcast is a little bit of that too for you, because I want you to stay, and I want to stay, even though sometimes it feels like I don't. So this is something I wrote on Instagram. It's just a quick little thing. It says, "I'm not okay, and that's okay. My heart is heavy. My hope is steady. So many reasons to stay. And one of those is today, the day that I'm not okay." So I wanted to share that with you. I love you. You're not alone. Truly, 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 I love you. The other thing I wanted to share is, as some of you know, Feely Human is going through some changes. It's just me at the helm of that Feely ship, and it's a lot sometimes. And I'm trying to kind of be more succinct with it, be clear with my intentions with it, create better boundaries around it and not burn out in this feely place. And so one of the things I'm doing is I've been building a membership community that will be launching in January, and I'm really excited about it. I hope you're excited too. But in the meantime, if you want to like stay connected to that, just subscribe to the newsletter, which is at the in the header at feelyhuman.co. Just go to the website, subscribe to the newsletter. Also give us a follow on Instagram at feelyhuman if you want to connect and stay in touch there. And that's it. That's all I'll say. Please go pick up Becca's cookbook, Baking by Feel. Authors, independent authors, all authors, writers need our support. And go to bookshop.org is a great resource. Go to your local bookshop, Baking by Feel. It's lovely. It's amazing, as is Becca. And I hope you enjoy this episode of You Me Empathy. Enjoy.
La la la, you, me, empathy, yeah, la la la.
Welcome to You Me Empathy, the official podcast of the Feely Human Collective. On this show, we explore the struggles, the triumphs, the brights and the darks we face as humans, trying to be human on this wondrous and overwhelming pale blue dot. You Me Empathy was created so that we can be witness to our collective humanity through the lens of empathy, vulnerability, and emotional curiosity. We aim to destigmatize mental health, lead fiercely with our hearts, feel our feelings without shame and judgment, and share our courageous stories so that others may feel less alone and more connected as Feely humans. You Me Empathy is a brave place designed to inspire the beauty in each of us, because each of us, in all of our kaleidoscopic parts, makes up a magical whole that deserves to be seen. Today, I'm podcasting by feel to be here with artist, Otis rescuer, patriarchy dismantler, pie baker, and author of the new book, Baking by Feel. It's Becca Rea-Tucker. Hello, Becca. Hi,
I'm so excited to be here with you today. I think that was the best bio of me that I've ever heard.
I mean, you got to get we contain multitudes. We're all different, our identities are all different types of things. I've been thinking more about the identity thing lately because, we get stuck in stuff. Like Becca's the sweet feminist person, and that's how we see you. And you are that person, and you're so much more. You love dogs, which warms my heart.
Otis is my first dog.
It is your first dog. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We'll have to get into that very deeply. But Becca, before we get into it, we always kick off with an emotional check-in. How are you feeling? Like really.
Yeah. Today I am feeling excited, a little bit vulnerable, and I'm feeling pretty open to possibility. Today, I am making apple cider caramels today, which is one of my favorite things to do in the fall to sort of, ground me in the season. I love the process. I love the taste. And so I am excited about doing that today.
I love that. I just straight up a fan of the fall over here.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Southern California. I know you're in Texas.
I am in Texas now,
hot.
So the fall is a totally different thing here. I'm from the Midwest. I lived in DC for many years.
Right.
And so this is my second fall in Texas, and it does not get less hot until November. So
gosh.
I'm tricking myself. Inside my house, it's fall, but outside it's definitely
you got the AC blasting so you can put that oven on. Yes,
I do.
I get it.
Yes.
I know. I've been, the last couple of nights, I've been roasted vegetable dishes for dinner and stuff. I I just want to roast. I want to roast. I want to like drink my peppermint tea,
I get it.
put on a blankie.
Yep. Food
Yes.
sets the mood for the season, for sure.
It really does. Do you? When did the food thing start for you? Because like I have like I think about food. You know, it's such a we all need to eat food. We're nourished by it. It's a thing. You don't know this about me, Becca, but I went a decade where food was not a thing. Where I struggled with anorexia, and that was weird and hard and uncomfortable and all the things. And also food has nostalgic connections for people, and it has connections to tradition and culture and family and stuff. So I'm curious for you, like, where does that food connection, origin, love, piece start?
Yeah. So my earliest memory of, I think food in general, definitely baking, is making chocolate chip cookies with my grandma in her kitchen. Her name is Jane, and she, baked as long as I can remember. And I really remember like the process of doing that with her. And I'm sitting up on her counters and she's like, here, lick this beater.
Yes.
And I can still taste the like grittiness of the cookie dough from that beater. So it's definitely a formative memory for me. But then after that, I'm a self-taught baker. So I started cooking just on my own. There wasn't like a ton of cooking that happened in my house when I was growing up. So it was just a lot of me experimenting. And then I started really cooking more in college. I lived in this food house where you would be responsible with another person for cooking dinner one night a week, and then there'd be food that someone else made every other night.
Oh, that's fun.
So I was around all these, there was varying levels of skills, but there were some really incredible cooks and bakers in that house. And with like 15 people living in the house, there were tons of birthdays. So there was tons of birthday cakes. And so a couple of my friends there, I really learned about cakes from them and these really incredible flavor combinations. And so then food just was part of my personal life. Like I loved cooking for people. I loved sharing my food with people, but wasn't part of my professional life until I think I was like 23 or 24. And I started working for a bean to bar chocolate company.
Oh, okay.
And
in what capacity? As a baker?
No, I was the business manager. It was the chocolatier, Ishmael, who's an incredible chocolatier. And then me, how do we get ourselves into grocery stores and that kind of thing. But I learned a lot about flavor from him, how to taste flavor. Because he would be like, okay, like taste this piece of chocolate. First, do you taste the nutmeg? And then is there a little bit of cayenne at the end? And I learned to taste that way. I'm sorry, that was Otis.
It's okay.
And after that, I worked at a bakery, the best one in DC, I would say, Baked and Wired. Also not in a baking capacity, but just learning about the food world and what it's like to be in that world, which was really fun and interesting for me. Just hold on one second. Otis. No. Okay. He is a puppy. He's one. So
we have a 1-year-old. We understand.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you understand. So I worked at that bakery. And then I got laid off in early 2020, like many people. And I had to figure out what I was going to do on my own. And so I started working on a cookbook idea that, went through a lot of changes. The original idea is not what I ended up with.
It's usually not.
Yeah, but that's sort of my trajectory in the food world, I would say. It started in my personal life and then slowly, got in my professional life. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. It paints a picture. I'm intrigued by this idea, this human capacity we have for discerning taste and like figuring out that piece. And, it's connected to senses and things like that. Like I I liken myself to be someone who can do that, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's like a tough thing to learn. And I think, because this is what I do, I connect everything to empathy. I think just like empathy, where empathy is about nuance, right? Empathy is about understanding where we're coming from and our biases and assumptions, and listening and being curious, right? And softening and pausing. I'd imagine there's some of that in being curious about taste and senses, right? Like, because
Yes.
it's not, we live in a world, we live in fucking capitalism, right? And it's like go, 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 go. Whereas like, if you want to like pause and like understand what this tastes like, or what, if I'm smelling coffee or whatnot, you have to slow down. You have to pause. You have to like really be in tune with your body, I guess.
Yes, it brings you into the present moment in a way that I find really beautiful. You're using all of your senses, really. You're smelling, you're seeing what it looks like, you're tasting it. And with baking, like I even like use my ears. Like I can tell when butter is done browning by the way it sounds.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a very
What does it sound
sensory.
like?
It stops like hissing. It stops bubbling, and that's when you know it's finished.
That's
because you can't always tell, because there's like a layer of foam on the top. It's hard to see, so it's actually easier to do
with your ears.
Sound.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Superpowers. That's beautiful. I think that's really special. So here's the thought. You sort of immersed in this food world, right? You're on your food journey. You lick the batter from from Jane. Yeah. Jane. Mm-hmm. You have this food house in college. You work these jobs. How is the sort of, as you sort of get used to paying attention to food, slowing down, listening, using your senses, how is that connected to your ability to be mindful? How is that connected to your mental health? Those pieces, because I'd imagine there's some impact there.
Of course, yeah. So I like to use baking as a way to process feelings, and I think a lot of people do that. And I find it easier to process things, or, to sit with my feelings, to actually be with my feelings instead of intellectualize my feelings if I'm doing something tactile. And I discovered that, I guess, because in the past couple of years, I had the opportunity to go to therapy for the first time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Really incredible for me. And since I was laid off from my job, I had a lot of time. So I was able to devote, more time and energy towards that than I would have otherwise. And in some conversations with my therapist, she had told me, I think you're kind of just telling me about your feelings. Like, you can describe them really well. But like, are you feeling them? Like, can you identify where it is in your body? Like, what are you feeling?
Yeah.
And I had a lot of trouble doing that. And I was surprised, because I thought that I felt my feelings because I could describe them so well. And so then we were talking about, okay, how do we come up with some strategies to get more into your body versus just your mind with these big feelings. And I discovered that it was easier for me to do that if I had something to occupy my hands and engage in the real world, I guess.
So what you said is very important for the listeners to hold on to. Because I think it's very common. I struggle with it too, Becca. Like I can talk like day in and day out about like, I'm feeling shitty, I am depressed, I'm sad, I'm happy, whatever, all day long. Like that's I can do that because I've had those conversations with myself and friends and stuff for years. It really is another thing to really know how it feels in our bodies. And to describe it is hard. Like I still struggle with the describing piece of it in my body.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is that? How would you, I guess, how do you connect that? Like, how do you, for you personally, let's say you are feeling down, you are feeling sad, and you go and, start baking something. Like, how are you then transitioning that from your brain to your body and your heart?
Yeah. So for me, I think a lot of it is about removing distractions. And for me, that's often like screens, my phone or the
Sure.
TV or something like that. And if I'm baking, something I try to do is bake, be there with the process. And it's hard for me. I think it's hard for me to exist in the present moment a lot of times. And so by setting aside this time and this space, it helps me get into the mindset to be able to slow down and check in with myself, I would say. And I'm someone that I have chronic pain, migraines and some other stuff going on. And so I discovered through the therapy, the reason I went to therapy is because of this chronic pain, and trying to figure out, how do I manage this? How do I live like this?
Specifically headaches, or headaches plus other things?
Migraines, and then some like atypical facial pain is what it's called. So just half of my face would feel like lightning, kind of.
Wow.
And so what I understand that to be now, is that my emotions were announcing themselves in my body, in a way that was pain. And so part of my process was figuring out, how do I meet those feelings and those emotions directly, instead of them showing up as this pain. And that's not to say that all chronic pain is about emotions. I get Botox for my migraines. I take medication, and it's a holistic kind of thing. But for me, those feelings that I could intellectualize but wasn't processing through my body, they were having a mind of their own, and showing up as that pain. So
our bodies are our bodies are tricky, magical little tricksters in that way. Yeah. Have you, in therapy, have you had the opportunity, while in the safety of like talking about this stuff, reflect on your childhood, for instance, and who you were as a kiddo?
Yes. So I grew up in a kind of intense environment. My dad died right after I was born. I'm a oldest child. My dad died right after I was born. So the context of me being a very small child was being surrounded by a lot of grief, and sadness. And
I'm sorry.
Thank you. But I do think that set the tone, for a lot of things. And part of my journey is needing to be seen for who I am, instead of me within this context of grief and sadness, and merging into the world, into this not ideal place.
Yeah.
So I.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you the only
there
child from your?
I was, yes. And my my mom eventually had two more children, my brother and sister. And they are, wonderful. They came a little bit later. But yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot. Did you ever feel like, I'd imagine one might feel like maybe a burden?
Yeah. And I do think that that's absolutely true, with, no one trying to do that.
No, of course
not. But I think when you're in that context of grief, you're the embodiment of this person that has
a reminder
died.
Yeah.
You become sort of a vessel for other people's feelings about what you should feel, what you should be, who you are. And so it did take me, a long time to sort of unravel that and see myself for who I feel that I am.
What type of kid were you? Like, were you...
I was
Did you
a very
have something
stoic,
to prove?
I was
Okay,
a stoic child.
There we go. That makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, I was told that I did not cry as a young child. I was just stoic. I mean, and that's not,
No, but Becca, how could you, right? Like you were you came into the world and you were grief embodied, and crying would remind your mother about your father, or crying would, like...
Yes. I mean, exactly. Yes. It makes sense for sure. Yeah. But that's not to say I didn't have, an identity of my own. Like I used to want to be an actress, and that's what I thought I was going to be. So I've always had, like an internal light, internal sense of self. But it was sort of in competition with this other way of being seen in the world.
So do you think your stoicism was kind of about protecting that light a little bit?
Yeah, I think it could be, for sure. Yeah. And I think that's part of why it was hard for me to feel the feelings rather than intellectualize them.
Yeah.
Because
you were surviving.
To protect yourself.
Protecting. Yeah. You do what you can. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I relate to that deeply. My father's still around. I don't have a relationship with him. Very violent and very scary, and me being...
Sorry.
Thank you. Me being sensitive, just kind of had to protect myself, right? I always call it my heart guard, and same sort of thing, right? Like I learned to shut down very easily. I learned to kind of compartmentalize and show up in ways that weren't entirely who I was, right? And it led to a lot of struggle, like once I was out of the house, right? Like how you mentioned unraveling. What did that unraveling look like for you?
I didn't even know that I needed to do the unraveling. I always thought of myself as someone that was very strong.
You are.
Yes, thank you. I thought that for a long time. But when I got to the therapy, I knew I didn't go for this reason. I went to figure out how to live with pain. I didn't even know it was possible for me to live without the pain. So I did a lot of unraveling in the past 3 years, I would say. And that felt really beautiful to me, to sort of unwrap the layers of protection that I had around myself, to sort of reveal this softness that I really value. And I'm really proud of that, I would say.
I'm proud of it too. It's I think it's often the work of growing into who we are, there's so much like we carry from childhood. There's so much like dictated by the structures of our family and what we know. And it's our jobs to, unravel, to use your word, unravel that and dismantle that and figure out who we are out of that context sometimes, especially if that context is keeping us from who we want to be.
Right. And something that I still struggle with is that unraveling and that change of yourself isn't inauthentic. is an authentic expression of yourself. It's okay to change how you feel about things. It's okay to change your vision of yourself. And yeah, that's something I've been thinking about lately.
Me too.
Yeah.
Change, like, I mentioned this on the show, but when I met Jessica, and we met 15 years ago, just completely different person. And I've been thinking about how, like, I've gotten from my family, like, you've changed as some sort of like threat, right? As some sort of criticism, right? Because toxic systems, toxic people want to keep us how we were, in a lot of ways. And I think there is a beauty in shedding that, and changing. We have to, right? And it's hard and it's uncomfortable. And that's why some people struggle with it, right? Because it's hard and it's uncomfortable, and it brings up our shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to meet it. And
yes.
It is uncomfortable.
How long have you been with Reese, your husband?
5.5 years. We got married like a year and a half ago. And Reese is just this very kind, gentle person. And the relationship has given me a lot of space to change and grow, without a judgment of that. And like, a willingness to adapt and grow together. And I'm really grateful for that space.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I asked because it's, I know as Jessica and I have changed, like, it's we support each other right through it. And it's hard too, right? And it's just a hard thing. So like for you, Becca, for the listeners, like I'll just say it, we just need to change. Like we have to do it. Like we're ever changing as humans, and that's a beautiful thing. And to allow that for ourselves and for others is a kindness.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like with Reese, like I sort of chose the person and chose the relationship, for future me, for the me that had this opportunity for healing and, growing. And I'm grateful to earlier me, for being able to make that decision.
Yeah. Wow. That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
That's very hopeful.
Yeah.
Self-honoring. So you lose your job in 2020.
Right.
And is that when the sort of like, I'm going to start posting photos of my cakes online with stuff, with fun stuff? No, that's later.
The cakes happened before.
Okay.
So that's something I was doing on the side, for a couple years before then. But I just couldn't figure out how to do that as like a path. I thought it was just a side thing. And in some ways it was easier when it was a side thing, because you don't have to figure out how to monetize things and fit into the system.
The worst.
And, all of that. But at that time I kind of was forced to bet on myself, because I applied for so many jobs. I didn't get any of them, and it was a really hard time and trying to figure out, what do I even do. And so then I put my weight behind The Sweet Feminist, and that's my Instagram account, where I put feminist messages defined broadly on baked goods, mostly cakes, sometimes pies, sometimes cookies. And I think around that time I sort of honed down on what I wanted to do with that space. And I started focusing on destigmatizing abortion, and being really active in the pro-abortion space. And that comes out of me having an abortion in college and having only heard one person share their abortion story with me. I never heard anybody else's abortion story. I, lived in rural Iowa and didn't feel comfortable telling anybody about it, and had to drive an hour to the clinic, and it was hard. And I carried that around for a lot of years, without talking to anybody about it, without sharing it. And through the Sweet Feminist, I was able to start sharing that with people, and people started sharing with me, which was really beautiful for me. And now I use the space. I share recipes. I do a variety of things that, don't necessarily seem like they fit together. But part of what I do there is focusing on making sure that people don't feel alone, people who have abortions, and changing how we talk about abortion so people feel supported and safe, regardless of, legality and all of the, horrendous stuff that's happening right now with that. So yeah.
It's wonderful. I mean, I think what's wonderful and beautiful about that is you had an experience, right? You had an abortion and felt that you couldn't talk about it, right? Because you hadn't heard anyone. You had one person, right, who you've talked to about it. I reflect on that, and I've maybe talked to one person about and as you know, statistically, many people have abortions.
Yes.
And so you have this experience, this very personal experience, and you talk about it, and that allows others in. That allows others to see themselves in you and feel, shame is born in darkness. It's born in secrets. It thrives there.
Right. Yes. And shame is one of the feelings that I personally, historically struggled with the most, still struggle with the most. And so by just trying to shine this light on myself and this experience, helps me with that as well. And to hear people's experiences who are very different than mine. There's many different experiences of having abortions, and mine is one of those. And I love to talk to people about the whole spectrum of experiences.
It's important, right? It's the same for me having conversations with people about their mental health. We all, in whatever way, experience something. I have major depressive disorder. I talk about that. I talk to people who experience suicidal ideation or whatever. It's all a spectrum, and it needs to see the light, right?
Yes.
It needs to see the light so we can be seen, so we can feel seen and heal. All of it. Yeah. What I love about what you talk about on the Sweet Feminist page, one thing you sort of go back to again and again, which I think is so important, is all of the varied reasons that people get abortions, have abortions. Can you list some of those? Because I think it's again, I am here to facilitate you and your passion and your voice, and part of your voice and your platform is about destigmatizing these things. Because look, I grew up, Becca, in evangelical Christianity.
Okay.
Abortions to my parents and the world that I grew up in was, fucking sinners, man. They're going straight to hell.
Yes.
We're killing babies,
yes.
right? We're killing babies, all of this language that's so heightened.
And that
right?
becomes the narrative in people's heads. Even if you didn't grow up in fundamentalist Christianity, you're still exposed to that language, even in the mainstream,
Yeah.
So if that's, the voice that's in your head, that's really scary. But people, have abortions for all kinds of reasons, and all of them are valid. And you don't need to know anybody's reason. But there are so many reasons. And for me, like, my reason was that I didn't want to be pregnant. I found pregnancy unbearable for my mental health. I basically blacked out. I don't really remember much from that time. But I think people like to make a distinction between not everybody likes to do this. Some people like to make a distinction between real reasons to have abortions and, not good reasons to have abortions. Yes. And sometimes that is like an arbitrary week into pregnancy, or that it's okay to have abortions if there's something, something wrong with the fetus. But that if you just want to have one, then that's selfish, and it's not selfish. And even if you do think of it as selfish, that's fine. And so, part of my work, I think, is breaking down that barrier between okay reasons and not okay reasons, because there is no distinction.
There's no line. Yeah. And I even will say that, like, I wonder if me even asking the question about, or what are these reasons? I wonder if there's a piece of me that's like, I mean, obviously I'm very pro-abortion.
Sure.
And I wonder if there's this cultural thing where there need not be a reason. I think right?
Sometimes it helps humanize people if they do hear various reasons.
That's
like
true,
especially for abortions later in pregnancy. Like, there's so many reasons that happens, and I think a lot of people don't know any of those reasons. And it could be, trying to put together the money to get to the appointment. It could be not realizing that you're pregnant. It could be trying to navigate a judicial bypass if you are under the age of 18. So there are lots of reasons that I think people don't even think of. So I think it's an okay question. And I love to answer that question and then say, but, all of these reasons are fine and good, and absolutely, we don't need to worry about it.
So I know that, like, we are recording this in the month of October. This is out. This episode will be out in the month of October. We are nearing election time. Like, I know, but like for the listeners, like, where are we nationwide, at the federal level, at the state level, with abortion access? So
80% of people in the US believe that abortion should be legal. But that is not reflected at all in the legality. And what's happening right now post-Roe is that it's confusing. Like, laws are changing in different states all the time. Like, there are laws that are being reinstated from the 1800s that ban abortions, and people are confused. Like, can I get an abortion in this state? Where do I go? How do I find information? So for anyone that does need information, a good resource is ineedanabortion.com. And it's up-to-date information about how to access care in all 50 states. And also, abortion funds are great resources if you need help paying for the abortion as well. But it's a mess right now. Yeah. And, Lindsey Graham last month proposed a federal ban on abortion, which has been the goal. They've been working towards that goal, which is very scary. But we have seen, like, in my home state of Kansas, I'm from Kansas, voters voted in August to protect abortion and say that it's a constitutional right. And so I think people are going to show up. People are really fired up about this, and
Yeah.
I believe in that. But I also, regardless of legality, we have access to abortion pills, and the question there is about criminalization. We know that abortion pills are safe and effective, and that is different from pre-Roe. Post-Roe is different from pre-Roe. And so it's time to disseminate information about abortion pills, and then connect people with legal resources who are at risk for criminalization, in places, like my current state of Texas.
Oh, Texas. Yes. Yeah. Gregory Abbott. Oh,
man. I have a sign in my front yard that says "Fuck Greg Abbott."
Love it. Love to see it.
It's a beautiful sign.
I mean, it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. And I appreciate you sharing those resources, because it is confusing, right? Because there's states that are doing different things, and there's Lindsey Graham proposing things, and this has been discussed ad nauseum, but like at the root of a lot of this is white supremacy, Christian fundamentalism,
right,
and the fucking patriarchy, right?
It's a terrible mix of all of those things.
So I'm a white cis feely boy. I live in a world where I don't like. I can take a lot of risks, right?
Yes.
I can.
And I can as well.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, there's a whole spectrum of intersectionality here.
Yes.
But with that, like in that world, right? Like we're talking about bodily autonomy, like at on one level, right? And the idea that a system of government can tell another person to do a thing, like, or not do a thing with their body, their own bodies,
right?
It feels dystopian to me.
Yeah, I mean it's awful. It's truly awful. But the thing is, like, you have a right to abortion regardless of what the government says, and there are so many people here that will help you access the abortion care that you need, and that will always be true regardless of what Lindsey Graham says.
Voldemort.
Yes.
Do you ever internalize that? Like, because there's, I think I mentioned on this show, I've got a leg up because, like, I grew up with my dad, and so I've been very skeptical of men. They have to work a lot harder to earn my trust.
Sure.
Do you ever feel like you're internalizing the sort of the oppressive systemic patriarchy that exists around us?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all do. We all live under that cloud, the dark cloud.
Sauron.
But what I have tried to do is just look elsewhere, and listen to other people instead, like people in the pro-abortion movement. And I put my energy towards listening to them and figuring out how do we operate within this, because there were so many people and organizations, that were preparing for this moment, and people that were building systems to push back on, the greater system. And so that's sort of where I try to put my focus.
It's important. Yeah, I think I read a story or listened to a story about, I don't forget their name, but they're a doctor working on sort of abortion access via like a boat.
I heard about that too. I do think that is dubious. I have heard that they are not affiliated with any
interesting
people that are active in this movement.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about the credibility of that. Is what I would say. I would say there's lots of creative ideas, but I would say to people, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like you should just plug in with people who are already there and take directions. But I do appreciate everybody's creativity and figuring out how to survive in this context.
Yeah. Do you feel like, because I mean the row situation has been, you know, a talking point for many years. Do you feel like we are as a whole making progress, or do you ever feel like with this point in particular, like what the fuck are we doing?
I believe in the progress, and I've seen that just in the language shift that people are using. Instead of saying I'm pro-choice, more people are saying I'm pro-abortion. Like I think it is changing, and I think that's not reflected in our governments, but on a people level. I think that we are moving forward. Yes.
I agree. And I also, another piece of this puzzle that has been at least more talked about is the sort of the fact that these laws sort of impact poor communities, Black people, brown people, marginalized communities in more severe ways.
Absolutely.
And that's people are talking about that, which is essential. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes. The short answer to that is yes, I agree completely.
So how does how is Reese's, like, is he sort of an activist hearted person?
Yeah, well, yes, I really appreciate Reese because I ordered some stickers from ineedanabortion.com where you can it has the website and says, you know, if you need help accessing abortion care. And he was like, can you give me some of those so I can take them onto campus and put them there? And I appreciate him asking that. And I appreciate him listening to me and, you know, actively trying to learn about these issues and talk to people about them. Yes, I would say that he tries with that for sure.
Because it is such a, like, I Jessica will sometimes get uncomfortable with like some of the shirts I wear. Like I'll wear a shirt that says like defund the police, for example, right? And some of this language is intentionally designed to, not maybe intentionally, but it can be combative, right? Like people like see that and be like, they're building up their armor, right? Like away, right?
Yeah.
So I'd imagine like you being so vocal about being pro-abortion, you've gotten a lot of that type of pushback.
I have a shirt from Shout Your Abortion that says I will aid and abet abortion, and I wear it around Texas. And I know it pisses some people off, but I have had a lot of people come up to me and be like, I love your shirt. And I am wearing it for those people. I'm not concerned about pissing people off.
You're not out there to convince anyone necessarily.
I don't see my role as trying to convince the people that are not going to be convinced. My role is to support people who have abortions, which is a lot of people, and I am talking to them. Yeah. And I'm trying to give people the tools. If you want to talk to your anti-abortion family, here's some talking points for doing that. But I don't see it as my role to convince people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's well said. Because it is like I mentioned to you, this stuff is rooted in a lot of deep stuff that's been around for a while.
Yes.
I'm certainly not going to convince my mother that abortion, should be accessible, because she will never believe it.
Right. So let's just make abortion accessible regardless. And, and
no impact to her.
About it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Baking by Feel.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, love the name. Like,
Thank you.
great title. Did you come up with the title?
I did. Yes.
Uh-huh.
This book was like a light bulb idea for me. I knew I wanted to write a cookbook. That's always been one of my dreams. And I went through several ideas, but then one day I was like, okay, I'm doing all this work around feelings. How can I make that accessible to other people? I guess. How do I create a method that I've been using? And that's sort of where Baking by Feel came from, me trying to combine two separate interests of mine that might not at first glance fit that well together, but I try to make an argument.
Feeling and baking.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about and for the listeners, how the book is structured and how you facilitate that for them.
Sure. So the book is structured in 5 chapters, and it's these big bucket categories of emotions. So Robert Plutchik created this emotions wheel, and I created a version of that for the purposes of this book,
nice.
Just because there were way too many emotions in Robert Plutchik's wheel,
so many.
And I categorized it basically how it works in my head. So there are 5 chapters. They are happy, sad, mad, anxious, and hopeful. And within those chapters, there are feelings that fit into those categories, and then a recipe pairing for each of those feelings. And the pairings it's not just like flavor based. Sometimes it is like a flavor pairing, like, lemon invokes this brightness, and that's a happy flavor to me. So that's why that's categorized that way. But it's also about the process of the recipe. So like, if you are feeling furious, we're going to smash graham crackers into crumbs. We're going to use our body to do something.
I love that.
And so you can use the book as a regular cookbook. If you just want to make recipes, that's fine. But if you're going to use it in the Baking by Feel way, you would look at this emotion wheel that I have at the front of the book, and you would spend a few minutes identifying what comes up for you that day. And it could be one thing, it could be a mix of things. And then you turn to the page with that emotion and bake that recipe. And I have, next to the recipe, I have little blurbs about that feeling. And sometimes it's like journal prompts, and sometimes it's, I want you to write a postcard to your friend, and little things like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's how it works.
I love that. And what do you, like, if you were to like describe the transformation of someone who is using your Baking by Feel cookbook to bake something through, and also feel something, like what is the transformation you want? Yeah.
So the book is emotionally agnostic, is what I describe it as. I don't categorize feelings as good or bad. They are feelings, and they are human. And you don't need to police yourself about what you're feeling. But
men need to police women when they're feeling angry.
Yes, of
That's
course.
True.
Except for that.
Except for that.
And so you would take this space when you're making this recipe to engage with that feeling instead of trying to push it away. Like, the goal is not to manage the feeling. The goal is not to necessarily get through the feeling. The goal is to be with the feeling while you're doing this process of making something.
And what is a pairing example? Do you have one on the top of your head?
I do. So one example is, I have this coffee glazed cinnamon roll recipe, and it's paired with board. It's paired with board because it's a really long recipe, and you have to do a lot of different things. And it is engaging with that boredom rather than zoning out doing something else.
Yeah.
It's giving you, here's this 3 hours where we're going to make this thing. So that's an example. Another example is black pepper snowballs, the snowball cookies that you eat at holiday times,
Yes,
with nuts and rolled in powdered sugar. And the pairing with that is because you are manipulating the dough with your hands. It doesn't require a mixer. Like, you're just mixing it all with your hands, and then you're rolling them in powdered sugar. And I describe, like, you're envisioning your fury as sort of flying around you with this powdered sugar. It gives you a visual for something that's being experienced internally.
It's really inventive. Like, I've never heard of certainly a cookbook like this.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't seen anything like it. There are lots of books about feelings. There are lots of cookbooks, and I'm sure there are ones that combine it in some way. But yeah, and then visually, the photographs in the book also reflect the emotion. So each chapter has different lightings, and I'll show you an example.
Well, I should be. I think your book person is sending me a copy. I'm very excited.
Oh, you don't have it yet?
I don't have it yet.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's not your fault.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, these lime zest meltaways, the image, there's one cookie by itself, and then there's a grouping of the other cookies, and these all have lime zest, and the one by itself doesn't. And this is the rejected emotion.
Yeah.
So the photographer and food stylist, and I tried to reflect it visually as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to see it. I'm sorry you don't have it already.
Don't be sorry. How does it feel to have put such a thing together? Like, it's quite, I will say, from my perspective, what you're describing is quite an achievement. How does it feel for you?
I had trouble feeling that, which is, ironic. When the books came, I didn't feel connected to it immediately. I had trouble experiencing that feeling of accomplishment. And I'm in the process of working through that by thinking about my younger selves. I wrote this kind of like journal entry about the various forms of my younger selves and how psyched they would be about this for different reasons.
Yeah.
I'm very into the inner child work. And so that sort of is what helped me be able to feel this achievement. It's like, oh, remember when you were 8 and you were convinced that you were going to be an author? So I've tried to access that through other versions of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Earlier this year, I made and I had a friend design a little inner child journal. It's called Dear Childhood Me.
Oh.
And it's similarly, right? It was like me journaling for a couple of years about me writing essentially just little notes to my past versions of myself, all the past versions who felt scared, all the past versions who felt alone, all the past versions who felt like my sensitivity was a burden, all of that. And I'll have to send you one.
I love that. I need to.
I'll send you one
for sure. Yeah.
Because that stuff is, we are that person. You are little Becca. You are like all the versions of you are in you.
Yes. And it's so amazing when you can access that. My therapist had me do this wonderful exercise with that, where she asked me to choose a photo of me from my childhood where I felt like me, where I could see myself in there. And I printed it out. I keep it on my fridge. And it's this photo of me. I'm like, I don't know, 6 or 7. And I'm on a front porch and there's all these plants around me. I'm wearing these pink overalls and I'm just like in my zone of like in the nature and smiling. And it just feels like me. And so that's what I come back to when I want to connect with the previous version.
I think that's deeply profound, right? Because like there's so many levels to it, but one level is when you were that person, right? You may have not connected to that person,
right? Exactly.
And love that person in the way that they needed to be loved.
Yes.
And the power of looking back and giving ourselves the grace to look back and the love is in like, hey, I got you.
Yes.
And that's like a really like, that just like fills me up completely.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I see the picture, I'm like, you're amazing. Like I see it.
Yeah.
And I have so much affection for her / me. Yeah.
That's really special. So the book comes out
October 25th.
October 25th.
So 2 weeks from yesterday.
2 weeks from yesterday.
Recording.
Yes, it's the time of recording. I believe this episode is out. If you're listening to this, listeners, on the day that is out, it's Halloween.
Oh, the Halloween episode.
The Halloween episode. So the book is out.
Yes.
Go pick it up. If anything resonated with you about Becca's story and this book, it certainly does for me. Like, please order it. Like, we need to support authors.
Thank you.
As you can see from my background here, Becca,
I can see.
Just love
you
books.
Live your values.
Books are portals to empathy and feeling, and I just, as a writer myself, and as someone who has wanted to publish things and has gotten close and has never like made that happen yet.
Yep.
I know how hard it is and how much heart and hustle and sweat and blood and tears like goes into such a thing, and my many hats off to you, Becca, because like it's a beautiful gift you're giving. You know, obviously you make this thing and you want people to see it and connect to it, and I believe they will.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. You're welcome. So let's talk about empathy heroes. We always kind of wrap up the show talking about people in our lives or characters from stories or movies who are empathetic, compassionate, feely people we love and cherish. Yeah. I will go first and just say, listeners, it's the end of October. Vote. Anyone who votes is an empathy hero to me. Vote for Raphael Warnock in Georgia. Vote for Beto in Texas. Yes. Vote. I believe voting is an act of empathy because it's expressing your care to do the work of understanding your choices and understanding, too, that you play a role in this collective because you do, whether you are willing to admit it or not. So please vote. Anyone who votes is my empathy hero.
Love it.
Yeah, those are my empathy heroes. How about you?
Okay. I think my empathy hero is a character from a movie. The movie Chocolat. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have. It's been a while, but that's the one with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it's Johnny Depp and I think Juliette Binoche.
That's right. Yep.
The main character. And I chose her, Juliette's character, because she shows so much empathy through food. And she, I don't know if you've seen the movie, but if you haven't, you should watch it. But if you have seen it, you'll remember that she comes to this small town in France and she sort of starts solving people's problems through talking to them and feeding them chocolates. And I think it's just a really beautiful thing. She nourishes them emotionally and literally with sweets. And so I would say I love her, and that's what I would say.
That's a fabulous one. I love that. I love that. And I think I saw that movie when it came out. Haven't seen it since.
I've seen it many times. I would recommend it.
I love Juliette Binoche. She's great.
One of my comfort movies.
The other movie that, as you were describing it, it like popped into my head. I'm like, oh, that's a very empathetic sort of cooking movie. Big Night.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen Big Night?
No.
So I think Stanley Tucci
Oh, I love
wrote or directed it, maybe both. So Stanley Tucci and the dad from The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Oh, I love him.
Tony Shalhoub.
Uh-huh.
So it's those two and they're brothers, and they're from Italy, and they come to New York, and they try to start a restaurant. And they have this one, it's all based around this one night where they're trying to kind of like, one last hurrah. Let's bring people together around food and our love of food. And it's very special.
Okay, well, I have to watch that.
Yeah,
this
it's great.
weekend or today.
It's great. Becca, where can the listeners connect with you? Where can they order Baking by Feel? All of that stuff.
Yeah, so you can connect with me on Instagram at The Sweet Feminist. I also have a website, www.thesweetfeminist.com. And you can order the book wherever books are sold, bookshop.org. The HarperCollins website has a whole list, and your local bookstore.
Yes. Yep. Double votes for your local bookstore and bookshop.org, especially if you don't have a local shop. Yes. I love that. Well, listeners, all of those links will be in the show notes at feelyhuman.co. Becca, thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for putting your heart into such a special cookbook. Thank you. Yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I love this podcast. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be here. Thank you. And to you listeners, as I always say, I'm here, you're here. We're here together on this wayward, overwhelming, awe-inspiring, pale blue dot. We have each other. It's Yumi Empathy.